Hey guys, what's up? It's Cole, and welcome to my summary of the keynote from the Final Fantasy XIV Fanfest 2023 in Europe. Dawntrail has been slated to launch in summer of 2024, and this artwork here is going to be the package artwork. They talked about content coming before Dawntrail, which kicked off with the Xbox open beta to begin from around January to February. They're also going to be adding in the Fall Guys event, where I have the video playing in the background, and I need to admit, I laughed at it when I was first watching it. It reminded me so much of Squid Games. Who wants to play Final Fantasy XIV hardcore in here? That'd be so terrifying. There will also be glamour and other rewards like these minions, which I think, honestly, this looks pretty fun. This is going to be designed for groups of 24 players, so it's like an Alliance raid of Doom, and this is going to be coming in patch 6.51, where patch 6.51 is going to be released on October 31st, the day after my surgery. Crap. There will be a special quest in the 6.5x series, they didn't specify when, called the Path of the Infernal, which is Final Fantasy XVI collaboration event, which has the most badass Ifrit to ever come to Final Fantasy XIV. I love it and want the Ifrit to be my pet. I love it so much. Why couldn't this be the melee DPS? Also, you get to ride Torgal and get Torgal Pup Minion, and of course the glamour set used by Clyde too. Oh my gosh, I love it. I absolutely love it. I need to move on though for this video, but this is amazing. It's going to be so hard to not use that mount all the time in the pup. It's so cute. There will also be a Cloud Data Center stress test booked for late November, which has extremely large technical ramifications and is worth its video on its own. I'm not going to get into here, but this is very good for the future Final Fantasy XIV. This kind of technical stuff is huge. Patch 6.5 that we have now shows us a glimpse of where the story is going to go, but it isn't until patch 6.5 part 2 that will be released in January that we will have the real direction of Dawntrail. The theme of Dawntrail is going to be a journey of discovery where we will be assisting in the rite of succession of Tural, and we will have a ton of different things kind of thrown our way, like certain scions may be with us, some may be against us, and yeah, just stuff like that. I'm going to try and keep spoilers a little bit down. The developers, however, have claimed that the upcoming expansion will build an arc even bigger than Hydaelyn and Zodiark's storyline of the past decade, which is kind of crazy to hear, actually. That is pretty huge. Not that I don't believe them, but that's going to be a lot. They then began to talk about certain zones that we're going to experience in Dawntrail, starting with Yok Tural, which is, according to them, going to be different than the current player hubs that we have in 13. Which the full implications of that statement they didn't really get into, but instead showed a video I have played at the end. They stated that it's a highly pluralistic and very culturally rich and in-depth world. And interestingly enough, they did note that the big enemy fought in the trailer is actually the current leader that we're fighting, which I actually kind of didn't expect that twist. So yeah, I do think right off the get-go, this is already different by a lot. I'm actually kind of curious to see why we're doing that. I'm kind of scared. They then showed other new areas like what we knew from before, like the land with Hrothgar. Footage is in the background of this video. They have a notable absence of Hrothgars here. Why? Female Hrothgars probably would. They're saved with Japanese FanFest. And then they expanded to show even more than what they led on before, which they talked about what they called Koza Maoka. I apologize, it will take me a while to get used to these names, which is going to be a tropical region south of Tuliolo, which splits the jungle into upper and lower regions with lots of waterfalls, and they only showed screenshots of this particular map, so no footage here. There's a secret desert-like region that is totally different, and I wonder if I can run my mount into the cacti like I can in Cyberpunk. They didn't specify much of this zone other than it's called Shalayomi, and that it's like in central Tural, and that there is a boom in the region because there's ceruleum, which, at least in my mind, being a Canadian, makes it sound like the Alberta Final Fantasy XIV. They stated, however, that this area has some very massive secret to be very afraid of. New allied tribes are going to also include the Moblins, which reside in the jungles of Kazamuka, which obviously resemble the goblins that we've seen and will be highly related to crafting. With Dawntrail, the level cap will be raised to level 100, which includes crafters, and of course will include definitely like them getting recipes, which, oh wow, I honestly want to use these hats for Hrothgar. I'm really hoping in Dawntrail they're going to really try and give us as many hats as they can. I'm still bummed about that. More battle content of the game is going to include the standard fare like new quests, fates, dungeons, and then they wanted to show some screenshots, like specifically this palm tree screenshot is actually a screenshot and not art they specified. I'm actually really impressed with how it looks. Like, this being in-game footage is actually very impressive. And then they showed more dungeon art, but these ones are actually art, which looks like the actual inside of a water-cooled PC. They did reveal one new enemy that we're going to encounter in Dawntrail, which is the Eliminator. They didn't really go into any more detail than that. Then But I mean, they said, is it alive? Is it like a machine? Is it like a hybrid of both? That's all they really said. Duty support has also been planned for all dungeons, which will include all brand new characters from Dawntrail, or rather specific characters from Dawntrail, because you know what I mean. It's 4 in the morning and I'm trying. Lifestyle content, which includes things like Sanctuary and ishgardian, will be added. However, they are going to wait until Japanese FanFest to reveal it because it's not yet in the best state to show, which may concern some people, but I think that's great news because that means that they are still designing it, still really thinking about it, taking in player feedback, and really massaging the content, which I think is a great thing. A lot of people might be a little more cynical on this. I think that that's great news. Whenever I hear about a delay for something like this, I'm usually of the mind of, okay, that means that the final product is going to be even better, so I'm excited about that. They, however, were very clear that this new lifestyle content will be done with many people and not solo. And I think that is huge. That is great. That is important. One of the downfalls about Island Sanctuary was it was kind of solo. Which, I mean, I love many aspects of Island Sanctuary, but the solo aspect definitely did creep in more. We will be getting, from what I gather from the wording on the slide, one new ultimate raid for the Dawntrail expansion, and then we will see more variant and criterion dungeons, and then alliance raids, where the theme of the alliance raid set is going to be called the Echoes Advantage to celebrate 20 years of Final Fantasy XI, which, how to say it, it has a ton of ramifications. We're kind of doomed. Puppet Masters, Geomancers, and more. Does this throw a wrench into the new caster job, I wonder? Blue Mage content, Hildebrand Adventures with an ever-expanding and ever more funny name. Unfathomably more Hildebrand Adventures. New Deep Dungeon content, Gold Saucer, and even more PvP updates are coming to Final Fantasy XIV and Dawntrail. There's also a new limited job that they brought up basically right after the Final Fantasy XI collaboration, which honestly makes me think instantly that it's going to be something like Puppet Master or Beastmaster, just because it doesn't really fit into the mesh of the current game. The timing is way too close to that announcement. Bro, I have the EBGBs that it's gonna be Final Fantasy XI related, which honestly is pretty cool to me. I love both of those jobs. That has a ton of potential. I'm actually excited. I'm gonna be running around Limbs of Limits with my wolf pet being like, hey, yo, I'm a Beastmaster. Could you imagine that? That'd be amazing. They added even more graphical updates, which they took prior feedback, which is great. Like, these developers, I keep telling you guys, the Final Fantasy XIV developers listen and they are a blessing. I keep saying that, and I mean it every time I say it. I've been saying it for years now. Since I basically made the channel, well, maybe not like the first video, but basically, and it's like they have been working on the graphical update. They say since Las Vegas on like things like aura scales and horns they got feedback on, and they added darkening, which I think is quite significant here. They're also updating a lot of the models that have been around since 1.0 with what they're calling new normal maps. And I'm not really a graphical artist, but they really stress the like technical importance of it, and so this kind of thing, which would normally be called technical debt, kind of something holding back the game, they are looking at redoing or have redone, which is actually very important for the longevity of the game. Even if you don't give a flying pig fart about the Lalafels cheeks, this is very, very important for the longevity of the game. So I know a lot of people are memeing on it, but it's very important. But on the note of the graphical update, we need an update for glutes. 1.0 butts were so much bigger than they are now. Like, when is my Hrothgar going to get an ass the size of Nicki Minaj? That is the most important graphical update. There's my feedback. Hey Cole, what is your most requested feature for Dawntrail? Well, my Hrothgar to have glutes that rival Cardi B's. I sit around the house, I sit around the house. I'm gonna stop. They're also adding the ability to wear hats and glasses. More Hrothgar hats, please. Please, more Hrothgar hats. A little bit of me, like, cries every time a Hrothgar cannot wear a hat. Oh wow, that hat looks really cool. Oh. Yeah. Me when I got the Island Sanctuary, like, steampunk kind of thing. I'm like, darn it, why? Now, last but certainly not least, they revealed the new melee job is going to be the Viper, which is an original job for Final Fantasy XIV that they showcased. I did a video on it, like 3-minute focus video, so I'm not going to bloat this video and leave that to that video. I'm going to put in the description as well as the pinned comment. It's really good. It's like dual wielding that combines the swords Darth Maul style and has been it just looks very interesting, although I am already feeling the Corsair comments. Oh my god, Do not kill me. I am not the one that made this decision. Don't hurt me. I didn't do it. Anyhow, that wraps up this keynote summary from the European FanFest. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please be nice. I did not decide on not being Corsair. Don't hurt me. I, for one, though, like in general, with all this Dawntrail information, I am very optimistic about the future of the game. They have shown technical prowess, resolving technical debt, looking into servers. They have not formally announced their Boja equivalent, but you know what? I am seeing a whole lot here that makes me very, very, very optimistic about the future of the game. I'll say that the Final Fantasy XIV's future looks bright, like a dawn. Or Dawntrail. That is probably a really shitty joke that only makes sense to me and makes me laugh because it's 5 and 5.